The late afternoon sun spilled across the quiet Chicago skyline, painting the buildings gold as it filtered through the blinds of Emily Parker's small but cozy apartment. She had just dropped her son off at basketball practice and was looking forward to a rare hour of silence. Her phone buzzed on the glass coffee table, the sound sharp against the calm. When she glanced at the screen, her heart gave a little jump. It was Daniel, her best friend since college, the one person who had seen her through every storm. He wasn't just a friend. He was the one who always showed up, who always knew how to pull her back from the edge when life weighed too heavy. "Hey, Daniel," Emily said, swiping to answer. Her tone was warm, but there was a heaviness in it too. Life as a working mom, balancing her job and a crumbling marriage, had left her exhausted. "Hey, Em," his voice came through steady but laced with an unusual tension. "So, my birthday's coming up, and I wanted to ask you for something different this year." Emily smiled faintly, expecting a playful request. "Different? What happened to dinner and embarrassing karaoke?" He chuckled, but it faded quickly. There was a pause on the line, a pause that made her sit straighter. "I want a gift," he said finally. "But not the usual kind. I want a kiss. From you." The world seemed to freeze. Emily gripped the phone tighter, her breath catching in her throat. "A kiss," she repeated softly, as if she needed to hear it again to believe it. "Yes," Daniel admitted, his voice unsteady but determined. "I know it sounds crazy, Em. But I've wondered for years what it would be like. And since it's my birthday, I just thought maybe, for once, I could ask." Her pulse quickened. Daniel had been her rock through every fight with her husband, Ryan, through every lonely night when she felt like a ghost in her own marriage. And now he was asking for something that could shatter everything. "Daniel." "I'm married," Emily whispered, the word heavier than it had felt in a long time. "I know," he said quickly, "and I don't want to ruin anything. If it's too much, just forget I asked. Please. I value us too much to lose you." But the truth was, Emily couldn't shake his words. Over the next few days, they replayed in her mind like a song she couldn't stop humming. She thought about the subtle glances, the way his hand lingered a little too long when passing her a coffee cup, the nights when laughter between them felt a little too comfortable. Her marriage, on the other hand, had become hollow. Ryan was distant, his love buried beneath work and silence. Their connection, emotional, physical, spiritual, had faded, leaving Emily craving something she no longer received at home. When Daniel's birthday arrived, her heart was a storm of nerves and unspoken desires. He invited her to a boutique hotel downtown, just the two of them. "Dinner, a view, and us," he'd said. Emily almost said no. But instead, she found herself standing in a softly lit suite, the glow of candles casting shadows on velvet curtains. Daniel had thought of everything. "To a memorable birthday," he said, handing her a glass of wine, his eyes searching hers with a mixture of hope and fear. Dinner was warm and effortless, their laughter bubbling up like old times. But beneath every word was an unspoken question. When they moved to the couch, the space between them narrowed until it was charged with electricity. "You okay?" Daniel asked gently, his hand trembling slightly on his knee. Emily nodded, though her chest felt tight. "This feels big. Different." His voice dropped low. "I've wanted this for so long, Em. Not just the kiss. You. I've always wanted you." Her heart pounded, her mind screaming to think of Ryan, of her vows, of everything she stood to lose. But her soul, starved of affection, of passion, urged her forward. With a shaky breath, she reached out, her fingers brushing Daniel's cheek. And then, before she could second guess, she kissed him. It wasn't reckless. It wasn't rushed. It was soft at first, tentative, but then deepened, carrying years of unspoken longing. His arms wrapped around her, holding her close, as if he was afraid she'd slip away. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathless. The room felt alive, charged with something they couldn't ignore anymore. "I didn't think it would feel like this," Daniel whispered. "Neither did I," Emily admitted, her voice breaking. Guilt clawed at her, but so did something else, something freeing, something that reminded her she was still alive. That night changed everything. They crossed a line, one that couldn't be erased. But as the morning light crept through the curtains, reality pressed heavy on Emily's chest. She thought of Ryan, of the vow she had broken, of the life she had built. Later that day, sitting in her small garden, Daniel turned to her, his voice shaking but resolute. "Emily, I've been in love with you for years. Last night, it wasn't just about me. It meant everything. I don't know what happens next, but I needed you to know that." Her breath caught. She had never heard the words spoken aloud, though she'd felt them lingering in every shared glance. "Daniel, I feel something too. More than friendship. I just don't know where this leaves us. I'm scared." He reached for her hand, his grip steady, reassuring. "We don't have to rush. I'll wait for you. No matter what." The silence that followed was heavy, but not painful. For the first time in years, Emily felt seen. She didn't have all the answers. She didn't know if she would stay with Ryan, or what the future held with Daniel. But she knew this, something inside her had shifted forever. She was standing at the edge of a new chapter. And even if she wasn't ready to leap, she couldn't go back to who she was before. And that birthday wish. It had changed everything.